नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग। आई होप सब ठीक है, अच्छे से हैं एंड सेफ हैं, स्पेशली people in West Bengal and Odisha. I hope things are a little bit better. Also hope that बहुत मैंडेटरी चीज़ है, मैं बोलता रहता हूँ बट ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है। आई होप सब सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन कर रहे हैं, हो सके तो घर पे हैं और एक दूसरे का ख्याल रख रहे हैं। Okay, so talking about 11 on 10, I wanted to end this series 11 on 10 with a bang. And my guest tonight on the show is nothing short of a firecracker. He's loud, he is supremely talented, but I'm not sure if a lot of people, a lot of his fans know this, that behind all those bright clothing, numerous awards, and crazy energy is a very simple guy who can't help but keep it straight. Copywriting's loss became acting's gain, and I'm going to hurry to get superstar Ranveer Singh with us. I know all the fans can't wait.
Excited.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
How are you doing, Ranveer?
Up, happy to be.
I'm sorry, I missed that. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
बस हमारा साथ दे दे.
नहीं, कोई नहीं, साथ देगा इंटरनेट। दोस्त, डोंट वरी। कैसे हैं आप?
Good, feeling good, यार. संडे का दिन है, लॉकडाउन के बीचों बीच. Had a good workout, spent some time with the wife, got some work done, and this is the highlight of my day. Dare I say the highlight of my month or past 2 months. I've been hibernating, and this is literally the first time I'm a part of any kind of public broadcast. But when the skip calls, you must answer the call.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really kind. And I must say, so whenever we announced our guests, there are a lot of questions that come from people, which we also read. Although 10 questions are mine. Sorry, guys. But then a lot of them said that no, he hasn't come. He doesn't come live. We don't know much about him. And I wanted to ask you why. Is it a conscious thing, or you were just zoned out and in your own space?
Um, Captain, I've been engaging with this period of lockdown in many different ways. In the first 2 weeks, it felt like something. Then in the first month, then month and a half. Now it's been 2 months. So I've been going through different phases. First, just trying to wrap my head around everything that's going on in the world. Every time you wake up in the morning and you open the news and you read what is happening, and it's a very grim scenario, and it's disturbing. It's actually devastating to witness what is happening in this unprecedented pandemic to all our brothers and sisters, not just in our country but across the world. What the world is facing, this global crisis that is really, it weighs down on you. So
True.
I was going through my own process of wrapping my head around it in a way. It has an effect on you emotionally, mentally. I don't think I was prepared to engage anything or anyone in public. Just staying home and making sure that I'm using this time in as positive a way as possible. Trying to be positive, trying to be optimistic, trying to find the silver lining, trying to see the brighter side of things, as grim a scenario as it is. So I also use this time to kind of hibernate and experience the joy of doing nothing. There's a charm to
Wow.
that as well.
True.
I must say, before this, it was life was moving at a very frenetic pace, a very hectic pace. I felt like I was a hamster on a wheel, in the middle of the rat race, especially after Padmavat, then Simba and Gully Boy. My workload in the past year and a half increased to a level where I was teetering on the edge of sort of like a burnout kind of
Hmm.
feeling.
Hmm.
So in a way, this lockdown period has been well timed for me. I get this time to introspect, to focus on myself. As actors, they say you are the player and you are the instrument. This body that we
Hmm.
have, this mortal vessel that we have, we are the players and this is our instrument. So to
Hmm.
be able to focus on myself, to be able to get time with my wife. After we got married, the year following our marriage was busy for the both of us. So it's given us time to rediscover each other in a different way, bond with each other, and yeah, just uh, I honestly I didn't feel like being out there. I said, "Mauka mila hai, to might as well be in hibernation and go underground." I enjoyed that period of being under the radar, off the grid, as they say.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. But if I can request you from all your fans, keep enjoying what you're doing, but just give a little bit of glimpse of what you're doing, a picture maybe, or what you're doing on a day, because the message that we have got, me and my search team, man, just throw a picture, let us know what you're doing, tell us if you're singing, stuff like that. So just for your fans, request from them, and I'm forwarding to you. Whenever you can, just throw a little bit here and there for them to be happy.
I
Deal?
will most definitely. Point
Great,
noted, well taken and
great.
registered. Thank you for conveying, Captain.
No problem. So let's start.
Yes, sir.
Uh, See, I'm a 90s kid,
Yeah,
and I say it all the time, and I know you also a 90s kid.
yeah.
Uh, what are things that you remember from 90s? And one thing I particularly want to ask is when I used to watch all the serials and stuff then, probably was different from yours because you saw it from a different mind. You know, I saw a lot of places where you interacted people, you impersonate people, you were totally into that. So were your experiences watching all those Deg by Deg, Zawan Sambal Ke and all the stuff different than ours? Or was it the same, like just have fun?
I very rightly said, Skipper, I'm a 90s kid. It's
Hmm.
the born in 85, that 90s era is the one that defines you. You follow everything from films to music to
True,
fashion to pop culture.
true.
And those are your formative years, those are your foundation years. So whatever you consume and register and subscribe to in that period, it stays with you forever. So I have the fondest memories of everything that you mentioned.
Hmm.
Dekh Bhai Dekh, um, Zaban Sambhal Ke. I used to, basically, na Captain, I used to be a TV ka bacha, a product of
Hmm.
television, a TV kid.
Hmm.
When kids were outside, I was sitting in front of the idiot box and becoming an idiot. I
Hmm.
was, if I was not watching movies on VCR, I was watching Doordarshan. I was watching,
Oh, VCR.
yeah,
Good one.
yeah, Chaya
Kids don't
Geet.
know about VCR now.
I used to
Yeah.
wait for Mahabharat on Sunday, Ramayan on Sunday. I used to wait for Chaya Geet. It was like an event. Everything was
Yeah.
worked backwards from the telecast time. And then uh, Deepika has come and tuned into our chat. She's saying you are terrible at maths.
That was so harsh. That was so harsh. Terrible at math. Wifey doing wifey business.
Yeah, I was kind of terrible at math. I still am. I was never able to
That makes two of
pass in
us.
maths. Standard
That makes two of
onwards.
us.
Really, I think we turned out all right. So
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
kids out there who are facing this constant pressure of
Maths in
doing well
general,
in
don't lose hope.
mathematics, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the. It'll be great if you can do it, but if you can't do it, it's not the end of the world. You can tomorrow, if you find your passion, you can become Sunil Chhetri, even if you're not good in maths.
No, and you can become Ranveer Singh also, man. Uh,
So
I think
yeah,
yeah, I could.
Captain,
Yeah,
though,
go on, go on, go on. Please go on.
that's the decade for me.
Hmm.
I used to I used to watch television non-stop, and especially in
Hmm.
the early 90s when cable television came, I was just hooked. Like I was watching WWF, and even when my mom used to watch Bold and Beautiful and Santa Barbara and all, I used to be hooked watching the stuff that one really shouldn't be watching at that age, but that's all the kind of programming that we did get.
True.
And I'd wake up at 4 and 5 in the morning to watch, Star TV. There was Garfield and Small Wonder and all. I was just hooked. And even my idols were all the leading men from the 90s. It started off with Amitabh Bachchan, and then Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan,
Govinda,
Anil Kapoor,
he was one of my favorites.
Salman Khan, all the big 90s heroes, Sunny Deol, Sanjay Dutt, Sunil Shetty, you name it. These guys were like my idols. Like, I wanted to grow up and be them. So my fascination for movies and my obsession with television, it all started in the 90s. And those shows are the ones that you remember, with great fondness. They're cult shows. Nowadays on Instagram you have these handles, and with kind of social media you can exchange these memes and stuff. I get very excited when I get those memes about only a 90s kid knows.
Will understand this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. And you have a smile on your face. Oh, this happened. This was there. This happened.
Yeah. So what were your favorite shows? You used to watch Dekh Bhai Dekh and Zaban Sambhal Ke.
I know the song Zaban Samal Ke, Zaban Samal Ke, jo chaho kaho par zara dekh ke. I know all of the. A lot of places where I go, and when they talk to me, they think, he won't know these things. I was hooked. I love the fact you say WWF and not WWE. It was WWF.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin completely was my favorite. And okay, I have to ask this: your first cable TV, was it bought or was it stolen? Because mine was stolen. I still remember. So what happened? My father was in army and he was away. So I told my mom, we need cable TV. She said no, for two reasons. One, you're going to be spoiled, and two, $180. Forget it. Not on something that she doesn't think is good for us. So I got this star, a whole wire. I went down with a friend and I hooked it. और वो अंकल ने मुझे पकड़ लिया, वो मेरे घर पहुंच गए, तुम्हारा बेटा और तुम्हारे सारे दोस्त
देखो,
बिकॉज उनका फिर कनेक्शन लूज हो गया ना, उन्होंने खरीदा था तो उनका कनेक्शन लूज हो गया, तो वो हमारे घर आ गए. So what was yours? Was it bought or was it stolen like ours?
Mine was bought, and to be honest, I was allowed to. I was such a menace. I was a very, very mischievous kid. So they were like, at least when he sits in front of this idiot box, at least he's in one place, not creating trouble. But I feel like, Deepika had a very different upbringing. She was an athlete growing up, so she used to not watch that much television. So sometimes she turns around and she asks me, how do you know all of these things? And you know so much about so much. And I'm almost embarrassed to admit to her that more than half of my knowledge comes from very random, unexpected sources like television. It's not like I read this in a book or something. The lead character in Patal Lok, he spews all this gyan. Jaideep Alawar's character, he has a lot of gyan about Indian mythology, etc. But he says, "Lekin शास्त्रों में लिखा है, लेकिन मैंने WhatsApp पे पढ़ा है." So basically, I have all of this useless, knowledge about various things, and I've got it all from watching television. And I have insights into, cultures and stuff. It's only because I was a big TV buff. So I'm actually a product of television and 90s television, to be precise.
And watching those serials, did you ever think that you're going to be in one of them, or you're going to be an actor? Or was it just like having fun and you didn't know at that time that you want to be an actor?
Actually, it was when I used to watch these movies, which used to, the lead characters would be these larger than life characters, where I used to consume all the mainstream films. Like my earliest heroes were Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Amitabh Bachchan in his larger than life avatars. it was those guys who used to, those characters and those individuals who used to fascinate me. So I used to be obsessed with Rambo when I was a kid.
We all were.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I used to wake up in the morning and I used to take a lal rang ka patta and I used to
And
stand in front of the mirror and I used to tie it like
look
the
at your own
opening.
self in the yeah.
Yeah, and I had a big toy gun which I used to carry around all day. And if anybody would address me as Ranveer, I would be like, "My name is Rambo. Call me Rambo." So, so and it used to, my obsession used to run so deep that I used to go to sleep with, and just like Rambo, he used to tie a knife over here. So
Yeah.
I used to take a butter knife from the kitchen and tie it on my ankle and sleep. So I was very, very obsessed with these larger than life heroes, and my fascination with movies started there. Um, I found this fan world to be very alluring, you know, where you can be uh, something that you can be something fantastical, you know, something that's larger than life. So I was always attracted. I would not perhaps not be able to articulate it, but I was definitely attracted to the point of wanting to be a part of that world. You know, to be, मुझे बेसिकली यू नो हिंदी में बोलते हैं मुझे हीरो बनना था और मुझे बचपन से ही बनना था. मतलब एज फार बैक एज आई कैन रिमेम्बर आई डिडंट वांट टू बी एनीथिंग एल्स अदर देन अ हिंदी फिल्म का हीरो.
Wow, that's a good story. Look where you are now. That's a good story. So, yeah. So to my next query, copywriting was always your first calling, isn't it?
Copywriting was actually my backup, Captain. I thought about copywriting as an alternative to acting in case the acting gig didn't work out for me. Because,
Okay.
you know, when we were growing up in the 90s, there were only very few examples to go by where somebody from the outside had broken into the Hindi film business, you know. The way the Hindi film business was structured for the longest time, for lack of a better way to put it, it was like a mom and pop shop. You know, all the prime opportunities were reserved for people who kind of had a backing of lineage or of some kind. There were very, very few examples of guys, just less than a handful of guys who had made it from the outside. So it seemed like a very far-fetched thing for somebody like me to aspire to want to be in movies. It was around 10th standard where the question started becoming a little bit serious कि actually आपको life, अभी आप 15 साल के हो, going forward you're going to change your institution, you're going to junior college, you have to choose arts, commerce or science, and you have to kind of start planning what you're going to really do with your life. So I used to be very naive and think that it would be simple for me to become an actor. But at the age of 15, I looked around. It was around the year 2000, and I didn't really have any examples to go by. You know, I looked around, and all the people who were, you know, making their debut in movies were all somehow connected to the film industry. You know, there was no case for me to hang on to and say, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So at the age of 15, I kind of abandoned that lifelong dream of mine to want to become an actor. I said, यार ये अपने बस की बात नहीं है. This is a bit far fetched. ये it's out of my reach. So at 15, I thought, what else is it that I enjoy doing? I used to enjoy writing these one-liners for ads. मुझे याद है स्कूल में ना एक कंपटीशन रखा था और वो कंपटीशन में आपको एक प्रोडक्ट देंगे और आपको उसका पूरा एड जिंगल लिख के देना है. और मैं उस कंपटीशन में फर्स्ट आया, तो मुझे लगा यार ये काफी कूल था, करते हुए बड़ा मजा आया.
क्या बेचा आपने और क्या लिखा आपने, इफ यू रिमेम्बर?
स्कूल वो वाले कंपटीशन में पता नहीं, लेकिन इट वाज लाइक अ डोमिनेंट विक्ट्री. मतलब
okay.
मैंने फाड़ दिया था कंपटीशन में. फिर बाद में अंकल से बात करके पता चला कि दिस इज समथिंग यू कैन एक्चुअली डू फॉर अ लिविंग. ऐसे कुछ लोग हैं इस दुनिया में जिनका whose प्रोफेशन इज कॉपी राइटिंग, जिनका काम यही है कि प्रोडक्ट के लिए एक लाइन लिखे, उसके अराउंड एक स्टोरी बनाए, मार्केटिंग स्टोरी बनाए. So I said, this is great. This is another career option for me. So I really thought that I was going to become a copywriter. I joined media studies, and I was on track to become a copywriter, but at the age of about 19, it kind of hit me that this is not my this is not my real love. This is me making a compromise. This is me settling for something less than what it is I actually want deep down in my heart. And I'm glad that I had that realization. I expressed it to my father, and he was immediately supportive. He said, "Beta, just do what's in your heart. Only then you're going to be good at what you do." And that's how I was able to pursue becoming an actor. वरना तो मैं copywriter बनता था. हालांकि मैंने 15 और 19 के बीच में 2 internships किए थे. एक O&M मुंबई में और एक
That's why I
JWT
asked you.
मुंबई में.
That's why I asked you, yeah.
And I had good feedback in those internships. ये जो from what I could gather, I could have been a good copywriter. I was a very bright intern, and I could have totally become a copywriter. I remember एक रैप उस वक्त में भी मैं रैप में ही लिखता था. और वो एजेंसी में ना मुझे they used to call me the rhyme specialist. They were like, if you have a line and you need a rhyme with it, just go to this guy. He's like the rhyme doctor. He can rhyme anything with anything. So all my seniors used to come and they used to say, just see if you can rhyme something with this. एक वो मच्छर मारने की वो का वो प्रोडक्ट होता था ना, गुड नाइट. हाँ, तो गुड नाइट JWT में, हाँ JWT में हमारा क्लाइंट होता था गुड नाइट. और गुड नाइट के लिए मैंने एक रेडियो जिंगल लिखा था. और वो that the client actually loved it and they actually bought it. वो क्या होता था ना, हमारे सीनियर्स जो थे ना, they used to be very hungry for awards. So they used to write all these cerebral ads that would go to Cannes and stuff and have a chance of winning awards. अब हमारी बस की बात नहीं थी to write these cerebral types of ads, so हम बड़े low brow ads लिखते थे. जैसे lines for good night used to be like, कोयल था हरा पर मच्छर नहीं मरा, ले आइए लाल और देखिए कमाल. तो आम भाषा में जो लिखा जाता था वो क्लाइंट को बड़ा पसंद आता था. So I used to sell more ads as an intern than my seniors who were writing cerebral ads. So clearly I had a future as a lowbrow output kind of copywriter. और एक रैप भी लिखा था, मुझे याद है. I had given it the title मच्छर रैप.
Go on, please.
क्या था यार? हाँ. मच्छर रैप. यो मच्छर रैप. यो हम है जिद्दी मच्छर, ना समझना हमें मक्खी, खून हम आपका चूसेंगे, बात समझ लो पक्की. मैट और लिक्विडेटर हमारा कुछ बिगाड़ ना पाते, असर करने से पहले ही हम आपको काट खाते. इसी से तो होता है हमारा गुजारा, पेट भर खाता है हमारा कौम सारा. देख जिद्दी मच्छर मेरे हाथ में है क्या, गुड नाइट का इलेक्ट्रिक जेल नया, 110 गुना ज्यादा इसमें है शक्ति, इसका मतलब मच्छरों से पूरी तरह मुक्ति. गुड नाइट इलेक्ट्रिक जेल, अब 110 गुना ज्यादा असरदार.
So this is my foremost Ranveer's product and his brain. Please do not copy it. Whoever is listening to this, कल को ऐसा ना हो कि हम ad देख रहे हो और ये छाप दिया उन्होंने.
गुड नाइट वालों को in good faith मेरी ये भेंट है. आप इसका एक रेडियो जिंगल बना के डाल दे तो मेरी राइटिंग साकार हो जाएगी.
So I have got to know that it's not only just the rap and the rhyme bit, but you write also. Not just copywriting, but you write also. And I know it's very personal and you probably wouldn't want to share, but is it something that came along the way? Do you still do it? Do you get time to write stuff which is not just about rhyme and fun or copywriting, but something from your heart?
Skip, I actually don't write as such, but I contribute a lot in dialogue writing. That's something I don't think many people know, but this kind of side skill of mine comes very in handy when I'm approaching a character or doing a scene. Oftentimes what happens is when the writer is writing a scene, he's not in the space, he's not in the moment, he's writing wherever he's writing, in the confines of his home or his office or wherever he writes. And sometimes there are certain things that you need in the scene that are not there on paper. So if you have this knack of adding to the dialogue, tweaking the dialogue a little bit, it really comes in handy. It really like brings the scene together. Sometimes you need a link. Sometimes there are two dialogues which you feel are two different thoughts.
Hmm.
So in order to have a bridge or a link between them, you got to come up with something.
Hmm.
So this side skill of writing, that's where I find the most amount of use for it is
Hmm.
when I'm contributing towards the dialogues in certain scenes. I joke with my directors that I want a dialogue writer credit,
Yeah.
but really I've been very fortunate to work with people who are open to that kind of collaboration. The writers, the directors, they are always inviting this kind of input, and it goes a long way. It really makes the scene feel complete.
Hmm. So, talking about your skills as a copywriter, helping the directors with some added dialogues, your acting, your rap. There's one more talent of yours which overshadows all these talents. And before you say no, I've done a lot of research, so you can't even deny. And that ability of yours is to sleep. Now, before you answer this, there were many ways how people have tried to help you. One, your sister's getting chocolates to bribe you to get up in the morning. One, a very controversial one was you're doing a movie called Gunde, and your co-star and friend and people from the team have said that there was a special person with Ranveer to stop him from going to the van to take a nap because you never know when he's going to come back. So all these allegations that are on you, please explain.
Skip, I have to admit, my sleeping habits are not the best in the world. I'm not very proud of them. My wife, my beautiful wife, my very helpful wife, is trying to help me in this process of sorting out my sleeping habits and getting some sort of streamlining and discipline into it. But my sleeping habits are terrible. I'll tell you why, Captain. Because I am a creature of the night. I am
Hmm.
a nocturnal creature. I have this great. Connection with the night time. I don't know what it is about the night that I find very attractive, when the world is sleeping and there is थोड़ी shanti hai.
Hmm.
You really have you have time and space and quietude to kind of be with yourself and with your thoughts. So I enjoy being awake at night, but that only means that I sleep very late, and that's where the domino effect starts. You sleep late, then
Hmm.
you wake up late, then you're trying to take naps during the day to sustain your energy. So it's only because I love the night so much.
Hmm.
And in films often we have night shoots.
Hmm.
2 बजे के बाद सबकी बत्ती बुझ जाती है। मैं 6-7 बजे सुबह तक मैं फुल पावर चल रहा हूँ, और मैं सेट पे सबकी फिरकी भी लेता हूँ। कोई कोई
Hmm.
होता है ना, जो 3-3:30 बजे वो
Hmm.
जिसकी जो झपकी मार रहा होता है, मैं ए ए ए ए सुस्ती मत फैलाओ इधर, चलो चलो। So I'm really good with night shoots, and I keep asking my co-actors, "You good with night shoots?" I love night shoots. So yeah, it's because I'm a creature of the night that early mornings don't really agree with me.
So bribe from sisters has been transferred to bribe from wife, or wife doesn't need the chocolates. She has some other ways to get you up.
Wife doesn't. Sister has extra affection for me, so she'll try the bribe route. My wife will be there with a balan in the morning trying to.
And with a great forehand. So don't underestimate that. She has a great forehand also. So yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and
Hmm.
but she's not insensitive like that. I've told her, baby, in the morning, na, I'm very vulnerable, and I'm very like sensitive. So थोड़ा
Hmm.
हल्का हाथ रख के उठाना मुझे. She's very kind that way.
Okay, so that leads me to the fourth question, and this is an acting question. And before I ask you, I want to apologize because I don't know much about acting. So if I do ask something which is stupid, just pardon me. Okay. So the movies that I've watched yours, the last four ones, Ram Leela, Padmavat, Gully Boy, and which is the fourth one that I watched? Again, Sanjay Leela Bhansali one. So all these four movies,
बाजीराव मस्तानी.
Baji Ramastani, all these four movies, what I see is you're so passionate and deep into the role. Okay. And I also done the research where I've known about stuff, how you go about a role. And I know for a fact it's very passionate, very deep, a lot of hard work. Does that also mean that if something doesn't go your way or people don't like it, the sadness and sorrow is twice? Because you know why I'm asking this, because your profession, you work for months and months and it all goes to one Friday.
Mm.
It's not very fair, but so much
Yeah.
of hard work put by so many people, it goes to one Friday. So are you somebody who broods a lot after something if it doesn't go away, or you just like, you know what, I did it and I move on? What kind of person are you?
That's a great question, Skipper. I had to hit the ground running when I started working in show business, in the sense that I didn't realize how the thing works. जैसे कि आपने बहुत rightly कहा, Friday to Friday हमारी किस्मत बदलती रहती है. Like you said, you work for many months, and then on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the fate of all that effort that so many people, so many good people with good intentions have put towards it, it suddenly didn't click or didn't work with the audience, you know. I used to not know how to deal with it effectively in my initial years, but over a period of time, I evolved as a person. I got a little bit mature, if I may say so myself, in dealing with these things. And after a point, I realized the greatest gift is the process, is to actually be on the film set acting. And I had this realization, and around the same time, it was articulated for me by a speaker in a motivational speaker in an audio book. क्या हुआ था 2015, I think 14-15. I had a very serious injury on Bajirao Mastani, and I was really down in the dumps, Skip. Like, it really had a devastating effect on me, you know.
Physical injury.
I had torn the labrum in my right shoulder, and we had all the action yet to shoot. And it was a very, very big film for me at the time, a defining film for me at the time. And I was really crushed because I had trained very hard for the sword fighting, and before anything could be shot, I'd, you know, done this to my shoulder, unfortunately. So I started listening to these audiobooks of this motivational speaker who articulated it for me. And it said a very beautiful thing: the process is the prize, you know. And if you realize that if you don't base your happiness, your joy, your fulfillment on the result, you got to shift that focus from the result and being result oriented to the process, and realize that the real reward, the real prize, and the real joy is the process itself. Just being an actor, doing what I love to do for a living, being able to go to a film set and acting, being in front of the camera, living those moments between action and cut, collaborating with fellow artists who enrich your own craft, collaborating with filmmakers who shape you and mold you as an artist. This is the real reward, you know. Just the act of
Well said.
just the fact that I get to do it is the reward itself. So for me, if a film does well, it's a bonus. Sone pe suhaga. The fact that I got to work on it, I've already got my prize, I've already got my reward. So if it does well, that's a bonus. I've also learned how to more effectively deal with success and failure, in the sense that you know, there was this, I was doing a little bit of reading, and I know that there is in Buddhism, they encourage you to adopt a middle path. And in the context of success and failure, they say if you manage to not get too carried away with success,
Swayed away, yeah, true.
and you manage to not get too bogged down by failure, that's a much healthier way to be. So I kind of applied that in my life. So if a film is a success, it's almost as if I breathe a sigh of relief कि चलो यार बच गए. Especially if you take into consideration the fact that such a small fraction of films actually are successful. You know, less than 10% of films are successful. The success rate of major motion pictures is very, very slim. So if a film is a success, you feel very happy for a few days, but then it's very transient. The feeling is very transient. You feel that joy for 3 days, 4 days maybe, and then your focus shifts back to what you're doing in the moment, you know. आप शायद किताबी या philosophical बात लगेगी, लेकिन I believe that the past is ashes and the
It is.
future is wood. The only thing that burns is the now. तो अभी क्या हो रहा है इस वक्त, प्रेजेंट मोमेंट में क्या हो रहा है? प्रेजेंट मोमेंट में भैया कल सुबह मुझे जाना है, जो फिल्म अगली मेरी आ रही है जिस पे मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, I have to go there, get into character that morning and do my best on that day of shoot. And all my energies are focused towards what's happening in the now. So the success is the joy that you get out of a successful film, for me, is short lived. And similarly, the failure, I don't मातम नहीं मनाता हूँ. I don't mourn it for too many days. बहुत बुरा लगता है because you see, you share this one commonality with everybody who works on film, is that everybody who's working in film invariably is very passionate about films, is very passionate about, that's why they're there. From the lightman to the spot boy to the cameraman to the director, everybody is very passionate about creating cinema. And when all these good people with good intentions put their best foot forward and all these collective energies come together to create this thing that is so beloved to you, you know, it's almost like a child. And then it doesn't do well, you feel very bad for the fact that it didn't work out. Then you get into analytical mode, what might have gone wrong, but very soon you have to shed that off, because that can be
Detrimental.
yeah, if you engage with it for a limited amount of time, it'll teach you something. You'll understand why people are criticizing, why it didn't work, what went wrong, what you could have done better. It'll teach you something, but you must engage then only for a limited period of time. After a few days, you got to move on and focus everything on what you're doing in that moment.
Yeah, why I asked you this, because a movie is made in months. Whatever the outcome is, it stays until you deliver the next one. It's so different for us. It's every week. So
Right.
you are a hero today, they're chanting your name. Next, they're abusing you. In 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
you are a hero, so we don't have time. So we don't have time to think. There is no time. Oh यार ये हो गया, वो मुझे ये बोल रहा था, उसने मुझे कंधे पे ले लिया, उसने मुझे गाली दी. No time. So the learning part for us is very quick. Saturday match, Sunday recovery, Monday you got on the pitch, bored, go back, Saturday match again. That's why I asked you. And I also asked you because someone very close to you, I won't say scared, but is a little bit skeptical as to what will happen, because the last 4-5 movies of yours were a blockbuster. And last 4-5 movies, she saw you giving more of you to the movie. Now she's a little bit wary, I won't say scared, but she, not the actress, but the wife, is a little bit wary what will happen, because every movie he's giving more and more. What will happen? And I hope the streak goes long, because it's life. You will have hits and you will have flops, as simple as that. But I hope the streak goes long, and I hope whenever it shouldn't come, but whenever it comes, be sane, because your wife is a little bit tense about it.
She's dare I say, a much more evolved person than I am. She's much more mature than I am. She has seen more ups and downs in her career than I have, and she's a great guide for me. You know, she's a pillar for me. She keeps me on track. I often say that I probably wouldn't have been able to achieve the little that I have achieved in my career if it wasn't for her. You know, I've been working. This is my 10th year, and I met her 3 years into show business, and I've been with her ever since. मुझे कभी-कभी लगता है with I would not have been able to cope with the pressures of celebrity or cope with the status as a movie star. मैं भटक जाता. Basically, कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर ये नहीं होती मेरी लाइफ में तो मैं भटक जाता. And she worries for me only on account of the fact that she sees that I'll go to any extent to achieve the desired result for the
Exactly what she
character.
said.
It
Exactly what she said.
it's not. I can't say it is. It's very healthy at times. It does take its toll on you. There are certain characters who've taken their toll on me physically. Other characters that have taken their toll on me mentally, emotionally. But when you push yourself to the brink and you come through it, then you've evolved. Then you've progressed. You've pushed past the pain and the struggle, and then when you come out on the other side, you are a new version of yourself. And I think that's the beauty of the craft. But over a period of time, and I'm happy to report this to you and to my wife, who I'm sure is tuned in right now, that I have found more effective ways of achieving the desired result without those processes being harmful to oneself. So I'm becoming more adept at my craft.
Lovely. So that takes me to my fifth question, which is also about acting, and this is the last one. Again, disclaimer: if the question is naive, forgive me. So in my profession, it's a team game. Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, Mrs. is enjoying it. Yeah.
I love
So
you, baby.
yeah, the only request, Deepika ji, please don't spill the beans. You gave away my question of the writer one. Please don't give away anything now, because I've got questions left to ask Ranveer. All right. So my next one is, we got a team sport, and I want to think even making a movie is a team sport where everyone comes together and builds something. So in my sport, even if you don't like what the coach wants, even if you don't like your teammate, doesn't happen often, but even if you don't like the ideology or anything, you still go with what the coach wants. Period. You might not like it, you might not be happy, but you go with it, because in our sports, the probability of getting success is more if good or bad, wrong or right, you're in the same direction. How does it work in an acting thing? Because now I've also read, correct me if I'm wrong, that heroes have a lot of say on the movie. Again, I don't know much. So do you have those heated conversations with the director or the mind of the movie saying, this is not going right, let's do this? Or is it at the end, he says whatever and it's done? We all go to the same thing.
पहले तो मैं ये बोलना चाहूंगा, skip that these are not amateur level questions. आप जो the parallels you are drawing, they are very
No, because
insightful.
I'm taking context from my own sport.
It's a great question, Skip, and I would love to answer it. I think you're very right in drawing that parallel between team sports and the collaborative nature of movie making. It is a team effort, and the director is like the coach, like the manager. And like you very rightly said, you may not agree at times, but different players react differently. Some will rebel, some will do their own thing. I hear from you that more often than not, you have to go with the conviction of the coach, even if you're not in agreement. And I would say the same thing as a leading man in the film, because I genuinely believe that films are a director's medium. It's like you are just a tool. You are one part of a much larger process, but the actual creator is the captain of the ship, is the one at the helm, is the director. So you give your you give your input to the director, you present your point of view, but if you reach a point of conflict where what the director wants is not what you have in mind, there is always merit in going with the director's conviction, because he's the one who has his eyes on the bigger picture, and it's really his baby. It's a director's medium. So I find that in these sorts of situations, you should always go with the conviction of the director.
And has it ever happened?
But like you said, you're very. This is one insight that is absolutely genuine. Is that in the Hindi movie making process, like you said, the heroes have a lot of say. they sort of
I read about it. That's
yeah,
why I asked you.
they're very important centers of the movie making ecosystem. But that is evolving and that is changing. There is a new wave of artists, who don't subscribe to the old notions of the hero being the be all and end all or the authoritative figure on the film set. It's really, there's only one boss on that set, and that's the director. So I'm very happy to report to you that the new wave has a very different way of being of acting in functioning in the filmmaking process. But yeah, you have to understand that you are a team player, and it's the director's medium. So you basically you have to be cognizant of what your place is in this entire process, and embrace that. And it's not like I ever shy away from giving my input or suggestion or collaboration. Um, but and oftentimes the directors love it. They love the suggestion. But if they reject it, you just take it in your stride and realize that the director knows best. And I will name the director with whom this holds absolutely true. Is a big boss, my main man, Mr. Rohit Shetty. When I have a suggestion, I have something to contribute every time. Every time I'll go to the monitor and say, boss, मैं ये करूँ, boss, मैं वो करूँ. When he says it, he loves it. Go do it, be happy. But when he doesn't do it, it is for a particular reason. And then when you watch the movie back, you're like, now I understand why that suggestion wouldn't work. So you have to realize that he's the one who has the bird's eye view and has has his eyes on the final picture and the
Bigger
larger
picture. Yeah. Same, coach. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, his process is very precise. So it holds true in that case more than others. And yeah, I understand that as the leading man, you have a position of leadership. You are a leader on a film set, and you have that responsibility. And I really I'm very thankful, but I don't have delusions about my importance on a film set. I realize that I'm only a part of a much larger process where there are a lot of other forces contributing to create this.
That's well put up. For I think a lot of sports people who have tuned in, that's a great insight on movies. Because I, as I said, I was asking you just as a fan, a lot of things that I don't know about movie making. So before I go to my sixth one and the rapid fire, can I request you for a small tea break, if you don't mind? Because I'm
Totally.
enjoying it. I just didn't realize it's 1 hour already. So to everyone who is tuned in, exact 2 minutes. And when I say 2 minutes, it means a sports person 2 minutes, not a movie making 2 minutes, which means 10 minutes. So in 2 minutes, we'll be back.
Bhag we have a code language, Skipper, in movies. Because you have to communicate out loud. You don't say toilet jana hai, bathroom jana hai. The code word is 10-1.
Okay.
10-1 करके आया मैं.
Lovely. I have to ask you more about this. Let me get back to you in 2 minutes.
Done.